Welcome back to Focal Point AAFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. You know, and the reality is what we're dealing with here with this New Mexico State Supreme Court, you've got the labor commissioner in the state of Oregon saying that a Christian businessman has to be rehabilitated. We don't want to shut down this business. We just want to rehabilitate it. And they turned down business. Lesbian couple wanted them to bake a cake for them, and they politely declined. And the labor commissioner of New York said, you're going to have to be rehabilitated. And the question then becomes, well, what if they don't undergo rehabilitation? What if they don't get rehabilitated? What if they don't have their entire worldview changed under government pressure? Well, then the next logical step would be for their business to be shut down completely. So you got the same thing going on now with this New Mexico State ruling, state Supreme Court ruling. This is just tyranny. This is a trampling of the First Amendment, trampling of the free exercise of religion. And again, I want to make this point. It is the free exercise of religion that we are talking about here. Now, you might have heard about the story of Bradley Manning. He is the one that was convicted of treason, sent to prison for 35 years for betraying the secrets of the United States. What a lot of people didn't realize, in fact, the media has tried to conceal this, now the cover is blown completely, is that a key issue for Bradley Manning was his sexual orientation. You know, you wonder why we had a policy banning open homosexuality in the military since the dawn of time, since George Washington. It's because there was an awareness that this kind of sexual perversity was destructive to unit cohesion, to morale, to military preparedness, and so it wasn't permitted, it wasn't tolerated, and also created a risk to national security. Now we discover with Bradley Manning, huge risk to national security. He was a homosexual. Well, now he's coming out, says he's Chelsea Manning. He wants the government to provide hormone therapy for him. The government's saying, no, we don't do that sort of thing. But they don't know where to put this guy. You know, the media is already calling him a she. You know, he says, I want to be known from this point forward as a she. I'm Chelsea Manning. I'm no longer Bradley Manning. In fact, I think if he was smart, he would use some kind of multiple personality disorder defense. Look, I'm Chelsea Manning. I'm not that Bradley guy. I don't know who that guy is. I didn't do that. Some guy named Bradley did that. My name is Chelsea. I'm Chelsea. I didn't do that. And the media is already complying with his request to be referred to by female pronouns. And I'm willing to bet every dollar I've got by the time we're done, you and I are going to be picking up the tab for this guy's hormone therapy to help him foster and continue to enable him in this completely mixed up confusion he has about his own sexual identity. And the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, Bradley Manning's a male. His DNA is male. He is a male in every single solitary cell of his body. He was a male when he was conceived. He was a male when he was born. He will be a male on the day that he dies. And that's what science tells us. That's what biology tells us. That's what genetics tell us, that he is a male in every cell of his body. But the media out there is complying with this conceit, this deception, this illusion, this fantasy that he somehow is a female, already calling him she. Well, he's not. He's a he. So they're doing this in the face of what we know about biology, in the face of what we know about genetics, the face of what we know about medical truth. And yet they have the audacity to accuse us of being anti-science. Who's anti-science here? People who are denying the simple, plain reality of the matter. Now, someone asked me yesterday on the phone, then we'll get to the phones after we play this montage, 888-589-8840. So, Robin, Harry, if you guys can hang on just for a second, we'll get right to you. Or Mary, we'll get right to you. Elisa Chan is a city councilman in San Antonio. A caller asked me about this yesterday, and I hadn't followed this very closely. I dimly remembered something about this after the show was over, went back and looked it up. She is a councilman in San Antonio. And remember, San Antonio's proposing an ordinance that's going to be likely adopted, from what I'm reading, will likely be adopted in the not-too-distant future, that would prohibit anybody from doing business with the city if they've ever demonstrated any kind of bias, that's their word, against homosexuals or transgenders ever in their life. They wouldn't be allowed to enter into any kind of a contract with the city if any of their subcontractors have ever demonstrated any kind of bias. They couldn't have a contract with the city. They could never serve on a city commission. They could never run for office. They couldn't run for public office in the city of San Antonio. In other words, they would be Dred Scott. I mean, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Crow laws are back. Christians are the new slaves. Christians are the new blacks. Christians are the new Dred Scott. We have no rights that society is bound to respect. This is according to the latest trend in public policy and judicial matters. Now, Elisa Chan, she's not changing her view. She's against this ordinance. She does not think that homosexual behavior ought to be legitimized, ought to be promoted. And she was having a private conversation with her staff about this, where they should have been in a situation where they could speak openly and speak freely. She had an aide who was recording it on his iPhone and then released this recording to the public in the hopes of embarrassing Elisa Chan, getting her to back down. Now I want to play excerpts from, I had Jeff pull together a montage of some of the things that she said in this staff meeting. Now these are supposed to be the things that are horrific. These are supposed to be the things that reveal her to be this bigot and this homophobe. But what she says in these comments are things that anybody who is thinking rightly and clearly about homosexuality would believe. There's nothing here for her to apologize about. There's nothing for her to back down from. Let's listen. It's a little over a minute. This is a montage of Elisa Chan, San Antonio City Councilwoman, staking out her position on homosexuality.
You know, I voted no when that put on the Constitution about a marriage should be between a man and a woman, okay? And I'm telling you, that's okay if you want. I mean, this is my philosophy, guys. Whatever you wanted to do in your bedroom is none of my business. But do not impose your view on other people, and especially become a policy. And that's wrong. Because personally, I think it's just disgusting to just even think about. Would we be discriminating someone if a person go to a female bathroom because the person said I
feel like I'm a woman.
I'm a woman. I don't think homosexual people should do adoption. You're gonna confuse those kids. They should be banned. If you wanted to choose that lifestyle, we don't want to discriminate you, but you shouldn't affect.
I agree.
They're going to be confused. You can see two men go into a bedroom. You see a two women kissing. Is that not confusing? It's confusing. It is actually what you call suggested for the kids to become. You know, whatever, which is against nature. Does two men can produce a kid? Two women can produce kid? No. However they chose, I mean, that's fine. I'm respectful of their choices, right? I mean, even though I don't believe that, but if they're free people, they can do whatever they want to do.
So just recap what she said, then we'll go to the phone. She said marriage is between one man and one woman. I find homosexual behavior disgusting, and I would guarantee you 90% of the American people, if they would stop and think about what actually happens in homosexual sexual behavior, they would find it disgusting. They would find it abhorrent. There's something revulsive about it. This is exactly how God thinks about it. That's why he calls it an abomination. That's what that word refers to, is just kind of this visceral reaction. Now, we've said this before, but let's be fair. God says that cheating in business arouses the same reaction in him. He finds that repulsive. He finds haughty eyes to be repulsive. He finds lying lips to be repulsive. He has a visceral reaction to all of that. But homosexuality is one of those things, and most people would share that reaction. And that's why homosexual activists, when they were trying to overhaul straight America, they said, hey, whatever you do, don't let people think about what we actually do when we come together. We want to keep that out of their minds, because that's such a turnoff. That'll blow the whole gig if we let people think about that. So don't let them think about that. Don't talk about that. She talked about this bathroom stuff. I mean, if you're going to discriminate, then you're going to have to allow transgender people. I mean, it's gender identity is in this ordinance. They can use whatever bathroom they want to choose. So there goes freedom of privacy. Any kind of normal understanding of the difference between the sexes. She rightly says, look, kids are going to find this confusing. She said, I don't think homosexuals ought to be able to adopt. She's exactly right about that. We know that that's harmful to children from social research. And she says, look, this is just a matter of nature. And all you got to do is look at the plumbing and realize this is contrary to the laws of nature and nature's God. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Robin in Hickory, North Carolina. Robin, thank you for calling, and thank you for waiting so patiently. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian. Where can we even start? You know, where do you even start? I told your screen caller when he asked me, I said I wanted to talk about Bradley Manning. I think it is ridiculous that they should be allowed to sue us taxpayers to pay for his treatment.
Yeah.
And I'm going to always refer to him as a he because that's what God designed him as. I think it's a travesty that Jesse Jackson Jr. is going to be drawing all this money when he's been convicted of a felony.
Yeah, $8,700 a month.
$8,700 a month.
Yeah, $8,700 a month.
My mother, as a senior citizen who works her whole life, draws about $497 a month. It's ridiculous.
I know it is.
It's everything. I mean,
it's just
the
insane.
in New Mexico is just over the top. It's not even legal to marry a person of the same sex, and then you're going to tell somebody they must film them. Whatever happened to America where you made your own choices about your business?
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate it, Robin. That's a very, very good call. Let's go to Mary in Greenville, Texas. Mary, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hey, I wanted to tell you congratulations, your anniversary.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you for your show. Most of my news comes from your show. I listen to AFR.
All right. Well, we will continue to do our best to be worthy of your trust. So what's on your mind?
I appreciate you. What's on my mind is I have been in the United States. I am an immigrant. Been in the United States since '98 legally.
Mm-hmm.
I legally came here, had to go through all the loops and stuff. And, you know, it was a little bit tedious and work, but in the long run, you know, if you're a Bible-believing Christian, then you have to obey the laws of the land, as long as those laws don't go against the Bible. I do need to say that.
We must obey God rather than man. Yeah.
Saw that, and I thought, you know, our friends, and I don't mean to pick on any one denomination, but a lot of the Hispanics that I know are they say that they're Catholic, and that's Bible-believing, and it's kind of confusing how they want to possibly get in here illegally. You know,
Mary, let me interject here. Can you hang on over the break for 2 more minutes? I'd like to finish the conversation, but I'm out of time here. Can you stay with us?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be back with Mary after this brief break. Stay with us.